Good morning, champions. I'm excited to read this book to you today because it's by Eric Carle, who's one of my favorite authors. Before we do that, though, I want to take a couple deep breaths. And even before we take a couple deep breaths, I want to talk about how I'm feeling today. Today, I'm feeling a little bit frustrated because I've been inside for a long time. And I don't like to sit still. So today, when I take my deep breaths, I'm going to take really dramatic exhales. They sound like this. Sometimes if you're feeling frustrated, exhaling in that kind of way can help a little bit. Today, if you're feeling frustrated or if you're feeling upset or angry or nervous, try it and see if it works. So before we even start with our book, we're going to take a couple deep breaths, either to calm you or to let some of that feeling out. Okay, boys and girls, take your finger and touch your snout. We're going to take a deep breath in through our nose. And then exhale. 2 more, that felt good. In through your nose and out through your mouth. In through your nose. And last one. Out through your mouth. I feel better already. Boys and girls, Eric Carle, if you don't know him, he is the author that wrote The Very Hungry Caterpillar. I know that my champions have all heard this book at least 3 times in class, in kindergarten, and anyone else who's watching this video may have read this book too. Eric Carle is the person who wrote The Very Hungry Caterpillar, and he's the same person who wrote A House for Hermit Crab. I'm going to read this book to you today. Time to move, said Hermit Crab one day in January. I've grown too big for this little shell. He had felt safe and snug in his shell, but now it was too snug. Hermit Crab stepped out of his shell and onto the floor of the ocean. But it was frightening out in the open sea without a shell to hide in. What if a big fish comes along and attacks me, he thought. I must find a new house soon. Early in February, Hermit Crab found just the house he was looking for. It was a big shell and strong. He moved right in, wiggling and waggling about inside it to see how it felt. It felt just right. But it looked so plain, thought Hermit Crab. In March, Hermit Crab met some sea anemones. They swayed gently back and forth in the water. How beautiful you are, said Hermit Crab. Would one of you be willing to come and live on my house? It is so plain, it needs you. I'll come, whispered a small sea anemone. Gently, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and put it on his shell. He wants some decoration for his shell. In April, Hermit Crab passed a flock of starfish, moving slowly along the seafloor. How handsome you are, said Hermit Crab. Would one of you be willing to decorate my house? I would, signaled a little sea star. Carefully, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and put it on his house. So now he has the sea anemone and the sea star. In May, Hermit Crab discovered some coral. They were hard and didn't move. How pretty you are, said Hermit Crab. Would one of you be willing to help make my house more beautiful? I would, creaked a crusty coral. Gingerly, that means carefully, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and placed it on his shell. Oh my goodness. In June, Hermit Crab came to a group of snails crawling over a rock on the ocean floor. They grazed as they went, picking up algae and bits of debris and leaving a neat little path behind them. "How tidy and hard-working you are," said the hermit crab. "Would one of you be willing to come and clean up my house?" "I would," offered one of the snails. Happily, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and placed it on his shell. In July, Hermit Crab came upon several sea urchins. They had sharp, prickly needles. "How fierce you look," said Hermit Crab. "Would one of you be willing to protect my house?" "I would," answered a spiky sea urchin. Gratefully, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and placed it near his shell. In August, Hermit Crab and his friends wandered into a forest of seaweed. "It's so dark here," thought Hermit Crab. "How dim it is," murmured the sea anemone. "How gloomy it is," whispered the starfish. "How murky it is," complained the coral. "I can't see," said the snail. "It's like nighttime," cried the sea urchin. In September, Hermit Crab spotted a school of lanternfish darting through the dark water. "How bright you are," said Hermit Crab. "Would one of you be willing to light up our house?" "I would," replied the lanternfish, and it swam over near the shell. In October, Hermit Crab approached a pile of smooth pebbles. "How sturdy you are," said the Hermit Crab. "Would you mind if I rearranged you?" "Not at all," said the pebbles. Hermit Crab picked them up one by one with his claw and built a wall around his shell. "Now my house is perfect," cheered Hermit Crab. But in November, Hermit Crab felt that his shell seemed a bit small. Little by little over the year, Hermit Crab had grown. Soon he would have to find another, bigger home. But he had come to love his friends, the sea anemone, the starfish, the coral, the sea urchin, the snail, the lanternfish, and even the smooth pebbles. "They have been so good to me," thought Hermit Crab. "They are like a family. How can I ever leave them?" In December, a smaller hermit crab passed by. "I have outgrown my shells," she said. "Would you know of a place for me?" "I have outgrown my place too," answered Hermit Crab. "I must move on. You are welcome to live here, but you must promise to be good to my friends." "I promise," said the little crab. So boys and girls, our hermit crab, he's getting big. Just like how in the beginning he got too big for his shell, so he had to move on and find a new shell. He's now getting too big for this shell. So even though he's built it into this beautiful home with all of his friends, he has to leave it now and go find somewhere bigger. So he's saying, "Oh golly, I don't know what to do though, because I love this place and all of my friends have been so good to me." But a smaller hermit crab came and said, "I'm looking for a new shell." So our hermit crab thinks, "Oh, I know what I can do. I can give my old home to this new hermit crab so that my old home can have a new crab." The following January, Hermit Crab stepped out and the little crab moved in. "Can't stay in that little shell forever," said Hermit Crab as he waved goodbye. The ocean floor looked wilder than he had remembered, but Hermit Crab wasn't afraid. Soon he spied the perfect house, a big empty shell. It looked, well, a little plain, but sponges, he thought. Barnacles, clownfish, sand dollars, electric eels. Oh, there are so many possibilities. I can't wait to get started. Boys and girls, You know what I was thinking about reading this? I was thinking about how you guys came into kindergarten and you guys put on a brand new shell in my classroom, right? You put on a brand new school shell, and over the year you did all of your wonderful projects, and you learned how to read and how to write, and you learned how to be friends and share, and you decorated your kindergarten shell with all those wonderful projects, and now you're outgrowing it. As you leave me in kindergarten, you're getting a little bit too big for your kindergarten shell. So you guys are going to have to move on and get brand new shells in first grade. And they're going to be really big, but you guys are going to squeeze right into them and you're going to decorate them with all of the wonderful things that you're going to do in first grade. I can't wait to watch you guys move on to your first grade shells and decorate them with all of the wonderful things you're going to learn in first grade. I miss you guys so much, and I love you with my whole heart.